Welcome to the next broadcast of On Higher Ground, Ambassadors of Change and Transformation. Here, our audience can meet extraordinary people who specialize in changing lives, of showing we flawed human beings how to modify our beliefs, discover our real power, alter our ineffective ways of thinking, and supercharge our motivation. In their work, they aspire, with our help, to enable us to discover our true mission, discern our most sacred dreams, and get on track for the lives we were born to live. These ambassadors of change have often been brought to their vocation by having to face extraordinary situations, great personal challenges, and intensive self-scrutiny before they can bring us to the higher ground where we deserve to be. Hi, Angie. How are you this afternoon?
I am doing amazing, Johnny. Thank you for having me back again. Thank you.
I really enjoyed your sort of biography, you might say, because it's so, I don't know what to say, engaging and also impactful, I guess is the word I'm looking for, because it does have that quality of mission where somebody suddenly realizes their mission. And in your case, it was extremely dramatic, right? Why don't you just briefly go into that moment again?
So like I said, I was in my bachelor's degree. That's when I knew what my calling was. Like I said, I didn't know right away, of course, right? Because we tried to not really. Sometimes it humbles you, it scares you. And for me, it was that and many more other emotions, because of course I was trying to find out who I was, same time frame. But it was more scary than anything.
Could you explain why a little bit more?
Why? Because you have visions, right? You see amazing things. And at that moment of time, I wasn't in the right place. So I felt like, because I seen it, it was going to happen like within a year or two. I didn't know that it takes a process. It's a process. So I was scared. It's like having a magic power of, would I turn evil with it? Right?
I see. Yeah, sure.
So
I just saw the movie Aladdin, so I know what you mean.
Right. So it was that for me, I was like, I don't want to, and just hurt people or not do the right things behind, what's given to me. So I was scared for that reason. So I ran away from it for a little bit and I was like, no, I can't do it. You got the wrong person. It can be me. But it just, when it's you, right? When something is for you, it's for you. And that's the way that just goes.
And I think that when it's really your mission and you're really synced into it, you don't feel vain about it. You don't feel like you're more important than everyone else. I think maybe you feel like you're serving everyone else and basically you're the same.
Right. So in the beginning stages, of course, I have to admit this is how I felt. I came from not being nobody to anybody, not even my own parents, the way I seen it, right?
Yeah.
And I came to being this important person to somebody that was like, wow, right? So for a little bit, I can say that I was a little puff chest, ego, just proud and everything. But, of course, when he chooses you and you've never been chosen ever before in your lifetime, not even when you were a little kid, you were always the last one to get picked on. And, just a lot of people, either they can go with it. I mean, I'm pretty sure we know a lot of people that, made it up there and then now they're just use it for all the wrong things, right?
Yeah, there are those people. Mm-hmm.
Right. For some, they just stay in that stage. And then for me, I got into the stage having this spirit of just, it's about everybody else. And it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that.
So when I went in it, and people know this, right? I'm pretty sure sometimes it's a thing where you can't go to sleep, right? Because you're always being taught, if it makes any sense.
Oh, no, it makes sense to me because that's what happens to me. And I can't control, I don't know how to explain it, but one of the things that kind of identifies is that it can hit you like lightning, like suddenly you're in a different realm, a different dimension of perception, and you're being instructed about something. And it may have nothing to do with what you're doing at the moment, or it might, but sometimes it doesn't. And then you have to really realize, oops, I better listen.
Yes. So sometimes my sleep go like that. So I'm supposed to be getting rest, but I'm not really getting rest, if it makes any sense.
Well, unfortunately, I know that the factor, that aspect of life. Yeah, although, I mean, you do have to take into consideration that at some point you should rest, but maybe not at that moment.
Right. But sometimes I wake up actually very, very restful, and I'm so energetic to the point where I don't want to go back to sleep. But I feel like, okay, I slept, but I didn't sleep. So let me just go ahead and stay in here longer. And, you can stay there just a couple of hours. So those are symptoms, right, of what we go through. But I guess I'm to the point where I'm like, okay, enough about me,
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there's many more stages to this, of course, and it humbles you. And again, I just want to make it very clear, when it's you and it's meant for you, you do have the ability to walk away from it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if you actually walk away from it, I have to admit, whoever has done it, they must have a very strong will, because how can I put this? It's like something that doesn't leave. It's within you. It's in your system. It's in your soul. It's in your spirit. It's like a part of you.
Yeah, there's a movie. It's called The Razor's Edge. It's the old version with Tyrone Power. And it's about a person who's an upper-class Bostonian, I guess, and he receives a calling. and he actually does everything wrong by the standards of his friends and his family, and he goes off to India. It was Somerset Maugham wrote the novel, but this is a very, very good movie. I think it's older. Bill Murray made a remake of it, and that was a little bit. It just wasn't the same, even though the older movie is definitely older. But I think you should see it because it is about someone who has a calling and all the ramifications of it, which, when I chose to talk to and kind of aim my focus at backing transformational speakers, I felt there have to be some of them that really have this inner spiritual urge to help others. And so I'm really glad to be able to document some of these people's, where they're coming from. And so I'm really glad to hear your story, because I think it will impact a lot on people who are listening to it. And now, could you explain what you did next? I mean, now you know what you're supposed to be doing. How did you proceed?
You know what? I just went for it. I had no idea on how to speak. Like I said, I speak 2 languages. So the first thing I did was I went to Toastmasters just to get me to, help me with, instead of the fear being able, when I speak, you can hear it and you can hear me, but, ooh, So I decided to join a Toastmasters, and it helped me out tremendously. It helps out a lot. I went back to get my master's degree. I went back to take a lot of courses that I felt were going to help me. But when I took a lot of these courses, I have to make it very clear, I still went on videos and I released many of them on YouTube and stuff and social media networks. I wasn't waiting to perfect my skill.
Right. Well, you were diving into the field, so to speak.
Pretty much. I was like, go hard or go home. But
because really, that's where it is. I mean, that's where the real learning curve happens. It doesn't usually happen academically, although you could marry the two to some degree. I worked for a kind of a newspaper while I was in the latter stages of one of my several colleges. And I was studying, a little bit about journalism and advertising at the time. And it kind of helped. So you got something out of the school, right?
Yes, I got a lot of things, of course, and everything has to be, you have to actually get it done in hand, and it helped me, set up my business the way it needs to be set up. It helped me understand numbers. I like numbers, but not when you go into an MBA, you have to really like numbers. And I was just like, whoa, I just want to, you get this, I get this, and we divide this, and that's it. But it's a lot. I'm thankful now that I am where I am. I don't just mean knowledge-wise, that's irrelevant. I think more of the humbleness that I'm grateful where I'm at.
But how many people who are doing the kind of, I guess you could say you're doing a kind of therapy, right? Like family therapy. But how many therapists like this have an MBA? I don't think a lot of them do. Do you?
I don't think so either. Johnny.
So interesting.
Yes, I don't think so either. I just, like I said, I had a vision, and I know what I've seen, and I know what was given to me, and I know what is mine. So
what was your first speaking engagements like? I mean, some of them.
I was nervous. But, I have this great friend now next to me. Her name is Perla.
Perla, okay.
And, yes, Perla. And she's just been there with me every step of the way. And she's always encouraged me to, hey, breathe. Hey, it's okay. Hey, you're only speaking the truth. Why are you nervous? You're only speaking the truth. You're only speaking what was given to you. So she's been able to ground me, of course, with my husband as well. My husband, my amazing husband that, I made it this far because of him, of course, as well.
Well, that's great. That's really great to have that support.
Yes.
So tell me specifically, give me an example of an early experience you had speaking.
An early experience that I had speaking, one, you learn as you go.
Yeah.
An experience as, what do you mean? Experience of how did I feel?
Yeah, you addressed a certain group and you had a certain message. And what was that like? What was the message and what was the group?
Got it. Okay, got it. In the beginning of the stages, because I was still a very broken individual, I guess I was using my speeches to speak out my anger and my hurt in the beginning, early stages. It was about my hurt, my pain, right?
Yeah.
So I think at this stage now that where I'm at, that's why people were at first like, but you're here to help us. You're only telling us the symptoms. We know the symptoms, but how do we fix it, right? I was a very hurt individual, so it took a while for me to be able, in business, you live and you learn and you make errors and you're like, okay, wait a second. And now it got to the point where, okay, now let's really look at the picture. Let's really look at what it is. So let's literally look at how can we get to Z, and let's focus from Z all the way down to A. Some people like to work from A to Z. I like to work from Z to A.
Well, I think that's a lot. People who are involved in manifestation, in other words, making things happening partially through their consciousness. Some people would say co-creating with God because they're receiving something they're supposed to do work from the end. They look at the end as the most important thing, and I'm not saying this is the only way to go about it, but they visualize the end, and they stick with that end. And I do something like that myself. There are certain things that I do that are really large projects, and I found that it's very important that I focus on those large projects because something in the world or in the universe doesn't like me stopping to keep actively having that faith.
Correct. And a lot of people, I help a lot of troubled families, and I mostly focus on parents, because at the end of the day, I could talk to a teenager, I could talk to a child as much as I want, but as long as a parent does not have the will to want to change, it's like speaking to the wind.
Well, Angie, unfortunately, we're coming to a break time, but I think that'll be a good beginning just in a minute, okay?
Okay.
Thanks. This is Johnny Bluestar, CEO of New Galaxy Enterprises, a media content development company. If you're an author and want your novel adapted to the screen or to the new high-quality TV series developed by Amazon, Hulu, and Netflix, for example, I probably can help. My company, New Galaxy Enterprises, is a media content company, and I've worked on a number of adaptations, including a dramatic version of ventriloquist Paul Winchell's autobiography, an adaptation of a novel co-authored by myself and a Korean War veteran, an historical account of the Mexican art revolution, a science fiction screenplay based on a fictional novel account of fallen angels, and many other proprietary and client-based projects. We want our projects to be with high-quality potential and positive intent. To learn more about New Galaxy, see samples of our work, or talk to us about your project, please go to www.newgalaxyenterprises.com and fill out the contact form.
Boots in Manhattan is a coming-of-age novel by Ray Boylan and Johnny Bluestar. It is about a young Tom Boots Raymond who grows up in New York in the 1940s who was a member of a street gang.
My friends and I were about to start our own game of stickball when Rabbit Lacey, the head of the Rattlers, came up to us and tried to move in on our game. We were called Dwarves, the youngest members of this stupid gang.
Hey, Kevin, I need you to get some gloves and some stuff I left at my place.
No, this is our game.
Hey, are you my good little dwarf or what?
You've been calling me a dwarf since I was 6. We're not your personal slaves, pal.
Hey, what is this? A dwarf rebellion? All right, big guy. We ditched the dwarf thing. We make you guys regular rattlers.
No, it's too late.
He looked at Jay and me. We looked away. Rabbit was now angry and he pushed Kevin hard with the palms of his hands. Kevin tried to ram him in the stomach, but he stepped aside, throwing Kevin into the curb where he fell to the ground, bleeding profusely at the knee. Still, he managed to get up.
My street.
Kevin shouted at Rabbit, pointing at him with an angry index finger.
Find out more by Googling Boots in Manhattan, a 1940s coming-of-age novel, part 1 of the novel series The Foot Soldier by Ray Boylan and Johnny Bluestar. Google with the words Boots in Manhattan, Ray Johnny Kindle. That's Boots in Manhattan, Ray Johnny Kindle.
The songs for today's program all come from Doc Skinner, good friend of mine, someone familiar with all kinds of life's challenges. All his songs, composed and performed in different genres, come from his heart. Here's Gots to Go from Doc Skinner.
Oh yeah, it's just the way I like it. I know you're gonna like it too. Taking it with sticks in the mix. Hollywood, y'all. Drop these tracks like this. I remember back in the days when I didn't have nothing. Went from going broke joke to having something. Every day was a grind. Even after time you got color in your skin, you feel me, right? Picked up game from a true pimp Mac, he ain't played him. We keep it real black. Dope sacks, max straps and fat backs. East, west, north, south, we all do it like that. Keep busters off your back and chicken heads too. Watch for whirly birds and po-po's crew. Climbing fences in the alley, running from the laws. You know, strong arm scars and crowbars. Pimpin', Mac and thuggin' down for game. When you see us coming, you know same. What I mean by same crew, same truth, same game, same niggas that be down for you. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. Watch for haters, salt shakers trying to salt your dog. You living large, they wanna clot and clog, step to the fog and make your line sit clear. You too near me not to hear me, yeah, fear none. Why you going for yours? Life ain't no game, but in the game you gotta be hardcore. Loose lead, lead by the chalk line, this use your head for pocket spread bread. You heard what I said, but that was clever. Don't take a clamp off safety, create, participate, and keep living safe. You gotta go for yours, you gotta go for more. You got no ends, no chips, you ain't got no cash flow. Growing up without plans, my family being broke. Hungry days and nights, being poor, no joke. That's how it's been, it'll never be again. Long as I'm living and breathing, I'm striving, stacking the bins. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. Oh yeah. You know what time it is? It's the booty shaking part of the jam, y'all. My dogs, throw your hands up in the air. Ladies, shake your derriere. D.O. to the C in the mix. Kicking with D.O.G. to G sticks. B-K-L-Y-N, represent. Yeah. They slide out, I slide in. Keeping it real. Give me the cards, let me shuffle and make the deal. Yeah, nothing but a party, baby. Root. Baby. Root. Flows of blow, we growing in my dome, roaming the airwaves. Then bringing it home just like sitting a swisher twist up. You want the Bombay dog, I'm the dopest blunt. The liquor hit the swisher, puff, pass, pump the bass. Damn baby got ass, she like it rough, bag it up, pulling the hair, spanking butt doggy style. Sticky wet in the gut, in the bed, on the sofa or the floor. As soon as she closes the door for sure, we sweeping raw to the course, saying no more. Objections overruled, saving the sex and for later, back to this party food. Poolside, these honeys looking hella hot. Put the flavor in your spot, I bet this dope jam drops like a biscuit. Let your body sop it up. At the end, rewind again, you'll replay this cut. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. Go for yours, go for more. Go for broke, you got to go. D.O. to the C in the house. You didn't know me before, now you know me. Kicking it, sticks in the mix. Hollywood, y'all. Keeping it real, shuffling the cards and making a deal. Baby, yeah, it's like that, y'all. Let's ride.
Hi, Angie, again.
Hello, Johnny. Hello, hello.
Well, the last time we were speaking, a few minutes ago, you were saying how you really want to deal with the parents when you're dealing with a troubled family situation. You don't want to just deal with the kids, or you'll be kind of speaking into the wind.
Right, right. Now, what we do, right? I've been working with troubled families for the past past 16 years. And
Wow.
what we do is we create transformational bonds. And I've realized in those many cases that if the parent is not willing to change or see things a different way, there's no way anything transformational can happen. Right?
Yeah.
So we go into this, it's a broken home, troubled children. We have developed what is called the family blueprint. And we help parents overcome difficulties and challenges in their home extremely easy.
Really?
Yes, extremely easy. Now, I'm not going to say it's not going to be a fight. It is. It is going to be a fight. It's hard sometimes, especially when you wait till they're teenagers. It's hard, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. So the family blueprint, it has 7 C's. Within the 7 C's, we bring in our customers. And they are, of course, clarity. You need clarity. You need clarity. You need to know your desires, your family values, the discoveries. Sometimes this is a time where we discover closures, right? Where we have developed these negative self-talk, this negative is never going to change. Everything that has not been working, we have to bring it to a closure.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Right.
So you identify all these elements that need to be brought to closure.
Yes, into clarity. Yes, this is just one stage.
Okay, got it.
The second one is courage. And then the courage, we talk about the action, believe, I am with you, I guide you. And of course, you have people that give you strength. We develop a circle within your family because most of these broken homes broken people don't want to be talking to really strangers. So they just first want to communicate with the husband, the mother, the brother, their kids. And we go over to see what is it that's going to make them feel comfortable to be able to have the courage after clarity to move forward, right?
Yes, I got it. I think that's very interesting that right after clarity, you have courage because you're about to do something that's going to take a lot of it, I think, in certain cases.
Yes.
Having some little experience of it, you might say.
Correct. And then, of course, we go into another C, which is called communication. And anybody knows, Johnny, in order to make anything work, anything that ends with a ship, you need communication. So within the communication, we talk about the truth, the understanding, how relationships are, triggers. We talk about, do you have an anxious love attachment? Are you avoidant? Are you comfortable? Which one is it? And within the family, within the husband or the mother or the child, whatever we have, we actually even out the fields if they allow us to.
I got that. Well, I do believe that. But it's really difficult. It's sometimes, in a family situation to get that started. And that's part of the reasons that the thing persists so badly.
Right. So within this the family blueprint, what we do is we build your culture. Your culture, we give you many more C's, many more steps to take you from. And trust me when I tell you, some of these families have no idea what they've been battling with. They're like in a dark room. And all we do is come in and turn on the light for them. And they're like, wow, it's a life transformation. They start to see why their children are doing what they're doing. It's not because they want to be evil or spiteful or wrongdoing. It has nothing to do with that, but everything to do with if anybody sees their child as evil or anything negative, that only tells me that the parent, with all due respect, is playing in that playing field. So it goes. That's why you have to be. We don't just take anybody now. I cannot just take anybody because to me, this is very important. Anybody can tell you, yes, I'll take your case or yes, I'm not here for the money. That's not the reason why I'm here.
Right. That's extremely important. And I
Right.
think that's for anybody who wants to really do something. Well, particularly for people perhaps like us, you're focused on that relationship you have with this higher power and what you're supposed to do. You believe that money will come. You believe that prosperity will come to you, but not by going after it directly.
Right. And I mean, a lot of people can tell you this. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you're witness of this. Chasing money is like literally chasing wind.
For people like us, it is. But for other people, they can have a long string of success, I believe, and because they're caught up in this world. And this world is not the most pleasant world when you're doing that. It has its own punishment, you know. But I mean, but for a person like us, people like us, I think that there are different levels of awareness of who you are. And once you get to a certain level where you can actually experience guidance, the rules change. And you may not actually be conscious of it yet until you start to pay out, get the lessons. Because that was a lot of my life. I had a spiritual objective, but I didn't understand that he didn't just want an objective. He didn't just want me to have spiritual goals that I made up in myself, but he wanted my unity with him.
Yes. And I think it's just very important for families to understand that, you know, these behaviors are just repeating itself. And I always tell people, even helping one family, just one, imagine how many families after that is going to be corrected. We started with Adam and Eve, Johnny. We started with Adam and Eve. And look how many people is there on this earth.
Right. So there's a tremendous multiplication effect because they all have friends and family, and the kids grow up and they may treat their kids entirely differently.
Right. So in my mindset is help one family at a time. Adam and Eve, look how many there is. So all it's going to take, this is going to be a domino effect. We're going to be better off now, the whole world. We're going to be better off now. We're going to know why we're doing what we're doing it. Now, I have to admit now, you know, now that we're going to have the knowledge that we have, now you just can't go, you know, I want to say heaven and be like, oh, I didn't know. Oh, yes, you did know. You just chose to just literally, you know, knowledge is just in the palm of your hands, literally the palm of your hands. And I have seminars. I have free seminars. I have the podcast show that launches this Friday, which is tomorrow. So we have many programs to help those of low income help themselves. And we also have other programs, of course, where it takes a lot of, I don't want to say my time, technically speaking, my time, but energy. So we help anybody that is willing to have the will to want to change. Now, of course, sometimes right now we're rebuilding everything to accommodate a lot of people because I've gotten to the point now where, you know, I'm only one person. I could only make so many sessions a day. So now we're getting into the webinars, you know, online, the seminars online and worldwide. So we're launching worldwide. Within the next 2 weeks, we will be worldwide.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, you mentioned, let's see, 4 out of the 7 C's. Are you going to talk about the rest?
We have, well, we're going to go into a lot of detail. Yes, we have another C that we have that I was talking to you about is culture.
Yeah.
We have things under there. Then we have cultivate. Then we have connect. And then we have community. So we have a lot of, under those are the 7 C's. But under those programs, we have 4 weeks training where it comes with a lot of knowledge that you had no clue. And if you did, it wasn't to the extent that you're about to be exposed to when you come to the family blueprint.
So I imagine, in a way, people make big changes in a small amount of time often, right?
I need you to clear that up for me, Johnny. I'm not understanding that question. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's sort of like instantaneous enlightenment. They suddenly realize a whole lot of things in a small amount of time that will affect their lives. So it's like a big change because their mindset changes. Is that correct?
Yes. To be honest with you, Johnny, I think the first class that they take, which is clarity, is a big aha moment for a lot of them. When I tell you a lot of them, they're just so eager to take courage to do what they need to do and move forward. So just that one by itself, it's mind-blowing. And let me put it to you like that. It's transformational. That's why I say we create transformational bonds, because it just leaves you, instead of Like I tell people, this is my favorite phrase. I want to share something with you, Johnny. I was hurt by a lot of people. So, I always chose to just love my children because I felt like they wholeheartedly loved me back no matter what. Right. So when I went through this transformational, I think the aha moment for me was, there's a difference between having a heart of a rock and a heart of flesh. So when I'm going through this transformational and my heart is becoming of flesh, I start to realize that I was not loving my children to the whole potential that I should have been. So that hurt me as a parent because I'm like, wow, wait, I was withholding some type of love from them. And that's what we do. That's what we do. We think, oh, it's just my children. Oh, it's just my children. It's just my children. And everybody's mindset when they've been hurt is screw everybody else or forget everybody else, right? But when you really have a heart transplant, everything changes. The air you breathe, the way you see things, the colors, the way you see people, hear them. It's like music. You don't hear them whining. You feel their pain. You understand so much beyond that you have no choice but to love.
On that note, we're going to take a break, but I feel very inspired and also am greatly looking forward to how we round out this sort of picture that you're talking about when people experience the blueprint. We'll be right back.
Yes, Johnny.
My company, New Galaxy Enterprises, is a California corporation specializing in the creation of media and promotional content. We are focused on original, innovative projects that are good for humanity. These projects could be nonfiction books or novels, fictional screenplays or documentary content, websites and website content, commercial advertising content for print, audio, or video products on the internet, television, or radio, musical scores for advertising, television, or film, video, audio editing, etc. We want to promote products and projects that support the environment, encourage a healthy experience in living, developing, nurturing, and useful technology, and offering platforms for positive, socially constructive entertainment or informative, transformative media. Our experience in creating a variety of products like this is rather vast, and we offer client-based and collaborative products, as well as the opportunity of active investors to join us in the creation and promotion of proprietary products, some of which are in latter stages of development. For more information, go to www.newgalaxyenterprises.com. That's www.newgalaxyenterprises.com. If you're interested in talking to us, just fill out the contact sheet and we will get back with you. Are you confused about so much information on health issues? Do you find it hard to trust the sources of conflicting advice? Try Dr. Rodier's newsletters and blogs based on the latest information published in the best medical and nutritional journals. There is no charge for subscribing. Just log on to HugoRodier.com. That's HugoRodier.com to do so, or to download Dr. Rodier's latest publications. And now Doc Skinner, singer-songwriter, in his very powerful Miss You Mama.
As my teacher, you featured as a tool of the future I just couldn't see. Taught me how to survive and to self-stay true to be all that I could be. Slanging bud since 12, hanging out with big dogs, what they call the wrong crowd. Serving corners and running benders, players on them hogs, life be foul. Gunshots, hot spot, toe tags, talk lines, ghetto, everyday pain. Popo sirens, babies crying, dogs dying, you know the signs ain't never gonna change. Every city we hear, the pity we saw it, same, it's how we grew. No matter where we go in America, don't nothing ever change, is all we knew. It's gotten worse for me, mama, since you left, been gone. I'm all alone, how you groomed into me, I wonder where I went wrong, same old sad song. Been knocked down, locked down, incarcerated, pulled a 6-month bid. Going crazy, I'm insane, G, something's gonna have to give. This is dedicated to you, for what it's worth. The woman that raised me to be true to self from birth. I miss you, mama. I wouldn't want another mother, why am I separated from you? This is dedicated to you. I miss you, mama. This is dedicated to you, for what it's worth. The woman that raised me to be true to self from birth. I miss you, mama. I wouldn't want another mother, why am I separated from you? This is dedicated to you. I miss you, mama. Yo, they say I'm a sellout. Well, I'ma sell this bit till I sell out. Buy my dad a headstone, me a house and car with the tent windows smoked out. Mom's was cremated, cause she wanted to be. Now she's free. There will never be truer than she, Lady Domino, to live and breathe. I remember back in the days, ways, when we all had a big mama. You lost your mama? Yeah, well, I lost my mama. To the drama we call life strife, it's been said it's all good. Well, it ain't all good in my neck of the neighborhood, is that understood? Yo, check, I'ma get the wrecking, the CD decking it, so inspect it to the T. DOC's up in here, and I ain't gonna stop till I drop and leave. Cause my mama raised this GDOC to be the best me you see. So this is dedicated to you, mama, from DO to the C. This is dedicated to you for what it's worth. The woman that raised me to be true to self from birth. I miss you, mama. I wouldn't want another mother. Why am I separated from you? This is dedicated to you. I miss you, mama. This is dedicated to you for what it's worth. The woman that raised me to be true to self from birth. I miss you, mama. I wouldn't want another mother. Why am I separated from you? This is dedicated to you. I miss you, mama. Dedicated to you for what it's worth. The woman that raised me to be true to self from birth. I miss you, mama. I wouldn't want another mother. Why am I separated from you? This is dedicated to you. I miss you, mama. This is dedicated to you for what it's worth. The woman that raised me to be true to self from birth. I miss you, mama. I wouldn't want another mother. Why am I separated from you? This is dedicated to you. I miss you, mama. Dedicated to you for what it's worth. The woman that raised me to be true to self from birth. I miss you, mama. I wouldn't want another mother. Why am I separated from you? This is dedicated to you. I miss you, mama. This is dedicated to you for what it's worth. The woman that raised me to be true to self from birth. I miss you, mama. I wouldn't want another mother. Why am I separated from you? This is dedicated to you. I miss you, mama.
Well, Angie, this has been a great sort of odyssey for me in a lot of ways, because I think because of your background and what you've gone through, and the transformation is a little bit more boldly painted in my mind. It makes me feel very comfortable with what you're telling me. And some of it, I frankly haven't really heard in this way before. So I would like you to continue on explaining how you help these families and the challenges and what brings it to a serious state of transformation in the good sense.
So when anybody decides to change their mind, I'm pretty sure you know, Johnny, the first battlefield that you're ever going to experience is going to be within your mind. Your mind is very powerful. Once you learn how to be you, see, because I can tell any family members, and I've always said this, I can tell you, give you the tools, but if you're not using them for yourself first, there's not going to be no transformational bond. You're not going to be able to break these generational curses. It's not going to end. You have to be in ground. You have to stay on watch at all times. And sometimes it takes so simple. I know that we have parents that work, two parents that work at a home. Sometimes all it takes, which we provide you with it, is sheets, check in, check out sheets for teenagers, And especially I was doing this with my son as we speak, when he had a behavior and I'm extremely busy. But the teachers know, hey, it's one team, one fight. I've always believed it takes a village to raise a children. Always. I'm a firm believer on that. And I believe that many parents don't know how many tools they have available to them. So under the family blueprint, we go over everything that they need, whether it's in the school, which is called a 504, whether it's, in the courthouse, what they can't talk about. They're so nervous, what they can't say, what they can't say. Now, I'm not saying I'm a lawyer or I can help you, on any attorney advice, but I can, my degree is in bachelor criminal justice. So I do know a little bit more than what I have to. So when you come into the family blueprint, we are literally a family. It goes more on and beyond in whatever aspect that you need, that we're willing to serve and help you in order for you to have that transformational bond, not just with your children, right? That's very important to me. Not just with your children, but with yourself. With yourself, because that's where it all starts, with yourself. That's all where it's all going to finish, with yourself.
Well, it does say, love your neighbor as yourself. I always think of that when I talk about, the way you treat other people, that you're not supposed to forget about yourself.
Correct. And a lot of us, Johnny, I could tell you from experience, a lot of my people, a lot of me, I'm saying these people because I'm Mexican. So I was a mother at 15. And I'm pretty sure you heard very, very stereotype, of course, that we become mothers at a young age, Hispanic women, Mexican women. And at that moment, we don't know. Now it's not just Hispanic women. Now I see that is happening. I think they have on the TV show 15 and Pregnant, I believe, MTV. I'm sorry, I don't keep up with TV, but I know that I've seen some shows. Am I right, Johnny? I don't know if you see.
I have to say I don't really watch shows which say that if I can avoid it. I haven't.
Yeah, me too.
I come across terrible shows now, but not that particular one. A show called Pregnant at 15. Well, that's interesting.
Yes, this is a show where it's, all type of cultures in there, all type of ethnicity. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is getting bigger than what we've known. So for me, it's very important, like you said, love others like you love yourself. But when you're a teenager, you're in a broken home, you're used to sacrificing yourself. You think that's what love is. You have no clue what it is. You think it's putting others before you. No, that's destruction. That is called destruction. But we don't know no better. So the family blueprint makes sure that you get a lot of things put into proper perspective.
Yeah. So when you say that in a broken family, that they're putting other people first, you mean they're kind of protecting their parents? They're doing things that their parents and other people want them to do without really thinking of the consequences for themselves? Is that what you mean?
What I mean is, I don't know if you heard this story, Johnny, but pretty sure you probably have, where they have this woman. I'm going to make the story very short because I know we have very little bit of time.
Right.
This woman where she cuts her turkey one end to the other end, and it goes by generation. They keep cutting the turkey. Now, the reason why the grandma was cutting the turkey was because back in the days, a long time ago, you couldn't fit the turkey in the oven that they had, right? So when it came to this new generation, she didn't know why she was doing what she was doing. She just thought that it was a tradition and that's how it was supposed to be, not knowing that the only reason why she was doing it is because it couldn't fit, right? So now with our family, what we have done is we're doing the same thing over, in and out in a lot of homes. We think in a way where it just makes no sense, but because our great-grandparents, grandmothers, sisters, aunt, from generations to come started that, and we're still repeating the same cycle with many generations, we think that's the way to go. Until you come to a halt and you're like, what? Wait, they were just doing it because it didn't fit? Yes. So it actually fits. And now we're actually in a network now where everything, like I could literally log into the computer right now and see if my son was tardy, see if my son was absent, see anything, or my daughter.
That's great. Yeah.
So now we don't have to actually, I know when I was going to school, I was just discussing this with my daughter a couple of hours ago. I was like, back in the days, it was easy. Like if you ditched school, you just had to make sure you got home before they called that you were absent, and just answer and hang up or delete the message they left, right? If you had bad grades, you just had to beat the mailbox and just go ahead and get the grades out before they got there and just play like, hey, I don't know what happened. They got lost. So now we have a different technology that I feel like that I know we're not using.
Yeah, it's a technology of great value that is being misused, though. And,
right.
And it hasn't been, especially the social networking aspect of it has produced, I think, some very bad results. It's produced some good results, but also some really bad results because it creates peer groups that are negative.
Right. So now what we do is we go ahead and teach them, show them, just turn on the light. Let's just keep it as simple as possible. Turn on the light and tell them that's a chair. You sit down. That's a bed. You lay down. That's everything else. That's all we're doing. You decide whether you want to sit down or lay down. You decide whatever you want to do. But I hope within my heart that if once you come, be a part of our family, the family blueprint, that you do whatever it takes, whatever, because this is not just depending on you. It's depending on your whole family generations to come. Break the chains. Be the David in that family and fight. And I promise you, you would only have to fight one generation. The next one is going to become so easy.
So let me ask you, so you have a family that has 3 kids in it and 2 adults. And of course, there's a lot of friction and problems. But how do you talk to the children about it? I mean, how do you get that generational idea, at least in practice, to these kids? Do you talk to them individually or do you talk to them together? How does it work?
So for example, I talk to my children separate, right? Because they have different types of brokenness, right? I mean, we're in a broken world. If we weren't, like I told my daughter or my son, we wouldn't need God. There wouldn't be no need for God. So either way this goes, I want parents to understand your child is going to have certain issues, but what we don't want them to have is to have issues to where they end up into confusion, into drugs, into the street life, into something where it just becomes unreachable. So what you need to do is talk to your children. What are they experiencing? What is going to be the next step? Instead of judging them, criticizing them, because you as a parent have the keys. You know what gate they're about to open. You know what's about to happen. And instead of sitting there pretending to be mighty mighty, I suggest for your own benefit and your children's benefit that you humble yourself and you explain to them, I already know what you're going through. This is what it is. What is it that I can help you with? What can I show you? What can we talk about? What will you allow me to do to show you some clarity? Can I show you some clarity? You know, it comes into a lot of questions. It comes into the different age groups, but we make it easy. We make it easy. We go over it. We have one-on-one coaching, mentoring groups. We have all this stuff set up, but communication the right way. It's extremely important.
You know, my parents were educated people. My father became an attorney, my mother a social worker, and they did things for the community and so forth. But I didn't get along with them at all, and they never, ever really talked to me like that.
Right. Well, of course, right. I come from a society, like I said, where cursing and calling people names was the normal, the natural. You know, I don't know if you heard it before, Johnny, but, you know, they give you these nicknames. Sometimes they're very hurtful. You're like, wait a second, why are you calling me that? I don't want to be called the ugly person or the ugly or, you know, it just be some negative nicknames. But yes.
But as you know, people who, middle-class people, upper-class people, they can be broken too.
Oh, yes.
And I feel like I came from a situation that it was sort of like that to some degree. It certainly affected me. You know, you're told different things. You know, you're told one thing that you should be, and then another thing, whatever you do is not quite right. It was very difficult for me. It took me years to get over a lot of it. And, anyway, I would have loved to be a talk to the way you mentioned. Like just giving the rules and the rules that would make sense.
Right. All right. And sometimes, you know, if you knew my background, Johnny, and the way I talk now, that's why people that knew me back then and don't know me now, trust me when I tell you, it does not bother me. It does not bother me because I've come a long way. I've come a long way. And not just for me, not just for my children, not just for my husband, but to serve those in need. To serve those in need.
Well, I think that a lot of people who have listened to the show today will want to know how to get in contact with you.
So we have the website, the main website, which is www.angiefate.com. Then we also have our email, which is management@angiefate.com. Our phone number is 661-974-5174. And then trust me, from one of those three, you will actually get connected with us all 3 ways. Social medias, all of them. Angie F.A.T.E, you will find us.
Well, thank you for coming on our show, and I hope that people will take advantage of how to get a hold of you. Some of you out there are having some real big trouble with your children, perhaps with your husband or wife, and you might need some help to bring that family together. So thank you so much for coming on the program with me.
You are more than welcome, Johnny. Thank you very much, and I can't wait to see whoever decides to come on board.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Coalition is a unique project designed to empower its members both individually and collectively. Besides individual empowerment, its broader focus is on the restoration, protection, and enhancement of citizen and human rights throughout the world through the aid of its members. As this project is centered in the United States, our first task is to create a website and social network infrastructure to promote collective efforts to take back our rightful control as citizens over our government as designed by our founding fathers. Although we must begin with the social network restricted to United States citizens, the organization will also host a global dialogue for the discussion of human rights by citizens of democratic nations throughout the world. If you're interested, please check us out in the GoFundMe.com website, entering in the search field the Coalition for Planetary Empowerment. That is, go to GoFundMe.com and enter in the search field the Coalition for Planetary Empowerment. Thank you for joining us today to take a glimpse into the lives, stories, and processes of men and women whose mission is to effect positive transformation in the individuals that seek their help and for the world that will benefit from that positive transformation. Thank you for joining us again to gain more understanding of the opportunities for every one of us to find that higher ground which brings us understanding, safety, and a sense of living a life of real fulfillment and purpose. And now we end our day with Doc Skinner's melodic, folk-like, and very moving song, Back Home.
Winds were blowing, grab my hat, hit the freeway. I'm tired of country life, headed for the open highways to the city. Now fire's burning and my feet are aching to roam. I can't wait to make my way back home. There's a road that takes you back home, my friend. There's a road that takes you back home. There's a road that takes you back home again. I can't wait to make my way back home. There's a road that takes you back home, my friend. There's a road that takes you back home. There's a road that takes you back home again. I can't wait to make my way back home. Time won't stand still. Think about living easy. Why'd it take so long to grab my hat? 'Cause I was lonely. Still the fire's burning and my feet are aching to roam. I can't wait to make my way back home. There's a road that takes you back home, my friend. There's a road that takes you back home. There's a road that takes you back home again. I can't wait to make my way back home. Takes you back home, my friend. There's a road that takes you back home. There's a road that takes you back home again. I can't wait to make my way back home.